All right, welcome to Big Rascals, where we may be grown-ups, but we will never stop being rascals. We are a boys' book club, not just for the boys, but all those who enjoy reading, writing, comedy, and entertainment. Our purpose is to have fun discovering new worlds, making friends, and finding a cure for dyslexia.
Wasn't expecting that end part.
That's kind of a joke, but anyways, I am your host, Greg, and I'm here with Geoff and Derek. Geoff, he is known as the gay nerd. Turns out he's not a nerd. No, just kidding. Turns out he's not gay. No, he was never gay.
Just happy.
Just a nerd. We got Derek here, who's the only thing bigger than his heart is his laugh.
Oh, that's so sweet of you, Greg.
Yeah. There you go.
I'm just here for the laugh track, basically.
Yeah. Welcome, guys. Yeah, this is our first ever podcast episode. This will be fun.
Oh, yeah. And we are talking about one of our favorite books. Did you want to lead us out here, Greg? Sorry for jumping in there.
Yeah, well, before we get into that, guys, we got to talk about our top 5 favorite Little Debbie snacks.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I just got too excited about this book.
Geoff, give us your top 5.
Top 5 Little Debbies. Oh, it's so hard. I feel like I go through cycles of enjoying every single one, but top 5's got to be oatmeal cream pies. They have like different variations on those, like the birthday cake cream pie. They just came out with a Nutty Buddy cream pie, and then of course Nutty Buddies themselves are just fantastic, and Swiss rolls gotta be in the top category as well. I think those are 5 for me.
Nice.
Yeah.
What about you, Derek?
I had no idea there's that many varieties of cream pies, to be honest.
The cream pies.
Cream pies. Kids love cream pies.
That's It's Always Sunny reference. We'll probably reference that a lot.
Well, mine would have number 1 for me would have to be the fudge rounds. I know they're terrible for you. They're probably all processed.
I don't think any of these are good for you.
That's true. The number 2 is Nutty Buddies, the classic. You can't beat that. And then I'm constantly switching between the Cosmic Brownies and the oatmeal cream pies. And then after that would have to be the Swiss rolls for me.
Nice.
Oh, yeah.
For me, number 5 is going to be strawberry shortcake rolls. Ooh, that and Swiss rolls, they are kind of neck and neck.
Oh,
yeah. Zebra cakes for sure. Number 4.
I forgot about the zebra cakes.
Yep, they're so good. Nutty Buddies have to be on there. Number 3. Number 2, double decker oatmeal cream pie has to be the double decker. Get the extra cream.
Oh, yeah.
And then a new one I've discovered. Just the peanut butter cream pie. So good.
You guys have done a lot more testing of the cream pies than I ever have. You are very explorative there.
Oh, yeah. Well,
yeah.
We are connoisseurs of Little Debbie. That's for sure.
We have gotten into the Big Debbie club with how much we've eaten.
Yeah, the Big Deborah.
Well, let me ask you this. With the zebra cakes, do you enjoy how it sticks to the roof of your mouth?
Yeah, the waxiness.
Yeah, the waxiness.
Artificial.
Is that bad
flavors.
to admit that I enjoy that?
Oh, that's the good part about it.
I feel like the Cosmic Brownies, though, you could build a house with those things. Those are so thick.
Oh, you're probably right on that.
Anyways, yeah, thanks for sharing, guys. I'm glad everybody just wanted to know our top 5 Little Debbie snacks.
Yeah.
So, let's get into it. We are going to talk about one of it goes without saying, one of our favorite books, The Power of One by Bryce Courtenay. Derek's going to give us a little summary of what the book is about.
Yeah, and hopefully I got no spoilers in here. I really thought about what to say here. The Power of One is a coming of age story following a young white English boy named Peekay in South Africa in the late 1930s and early 1940s. He navigates through many obstacles.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, sorry. Involving prejudice, injustice, and violence. Along the way, he meets many mentors who become his friends. There are many themes of resilience, the power of friendship, race and discrimination, and even mysticism within the context of a divided society. There is a big emphasis on inner strength and triumphing through adversity, even in the face of a systematic injustice. In short, this is a compelling story of a victor, hopefully, not a victor, a victim, hopefully becoming a victor.
Yeah, awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Before we get into it, I forgot to mention this disclaimer. This is a book of the times for sure. The author does not hold back on how people were treated, the way people talked.
Racial slurs.
Yeah,
used.
racial slurs.
Used within context of
yes,
the time.
We're going to do the best we can and not, be offensive, but we are just discussing the book in some way. We'll just use the words that he used just to get our point across.
Yeah, for those of you listening, the late 1930s and early 1940s, that was around the beginning of World War II and apartheid, which emphasized a lot of segregation in society.
That's one thing I think this book is just so good about, is these are things that I was never taught in school, like history of South Africa and like what went on there during World War II. So super interesting. I don't know what you guys have experienced from that.
Well, I've learned the basics in school. You take world history, you kind of get a sense. Like apartheid was a big theme, especially during like the civil rights movement. South Africa finally kind of being one of the last countries to kind of give more rights to the underclass citizens, but the deeper themes within it are kind of missed when you study. You really only learn kind of the story of Nelson Mandela and like the basics of it and what happened to a lot of the farmers and the different societies. But this book just does so good at exploring the deeper themes and causes of what happened because of it. Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, and I think it does a really good job of painting a realistic picture of how it influenced the lower class and how it truly wasn't evil and how unapologetic it was in the daily society and how it was accepted by the more benefited race or class.
Yeah, for sure.
It doesn't sugarcoat any of it or make it seem extra evil just because it's evil enough. So it doesn't insult the reader by saying, you should know this is bad. It lets you come to that conclusion pretty easily, pretty quickly.
For sure. One thing I wanted to mention is with the audiobook, you get the author's story of how he wrote this book. I just wanted to give a summary of that real quick. Bryce Courtenay said that it was his very first book. His intention was to, I think, write 4 books in 4 years or something like that, because he was told that if you wanted to be an author, your first 4 books wouldn't get published. And so he went out to write 4 books in 4 years, and then his 5th book would be the book that got published. And so he wrote The Power of One, kind of as a biography, but more of a fictional biography of his life. And he ended up using the book as a doorstop.
The manuscript.
Yeah, the manuscript as a doorstop. And I guess his daughter-in-law ended up kicking it and papers scattered everywhere. And she picked it up and started reading. And she went to him and was like, "This is the best book I have ever read. Why has this not been published?" And he got it published, and it sold at an auction for $1 million. Pretty crazy story.
Oh yeah.
Very first book.
Kind of goes to show that we can be our own worst critics sometimes, and that not always do we need to follow the conventions, especially when it comes to publishing and writing.
Oh yeah. If you listened, we listened to a lot of Brandon Sanderson stuff and his podcasts, and it's pretty typical for authors to say that your first book is not going to be published, or your second book is not going to be published. And I think Brandon Sanderson said he wrote like 7 books before his first got published, which I think that's kind of the norm, but it's definitely possible. I think Patrick Rothfuss, his first book was published and became, a New York Times bestseller or something like that.
Well, To Kill a Mockingbird, the only book that was written, I can't remember the author's name, but yeah, her only book and her first book, it became, one of the most well-known stories in pretty much history.
Yeah. I guess the reason we're talking about this, guys, I forgot to say, we're all aspiring writers. Derek, Geoff, and I, we are all working on a book or a few books, just doing the best we can. So that's kind of our background. We all have normal jobs. Derek and I are electricians, and Geoff is Indiana Jones. Or
yes, he is.
Wannabe Indiana Jones.
For sure. Yeah.
But anyways, yeah, back to the Power of One, guys. What else? What else is about it?
Well, yeah, I think
what else is there?
we can get into some deeper themes, and I'd say maybe this is where we can say there's going to be some spoilers.
Yes.
Yes.
From here
this
on
is
out,
your warning.
Spoiler alert. Really, go read this book if you haven't yet. Read the book, come back, listen to this discussion. It will change your life. No kidding.
Yeah, you will not be disappointed. Like, for instance, if you go onto the reviews of the audiobook, you'll see someone commented on there that they named their firstborn Peekay, which is the name of the main character of this book. That's mine. And that is
not
that's not my son's actual name, but it is his nickname, and that's all I've called him ever since he was born. The only time I've called him his actual name, Parker, is in his baby blessing.
Yeah, that's like being a Tolkien fan and naming your kid Frodo. So,
which is hopefully on the list for me down the road as well.
Oh yeah. Well, this book it should be on everyone's reading list, especially I think for even I wouldn't say like youth read, like young age reading, but definitely high school age boys. This is a book they should read because it's an inspiring book for any young man to put into their life.
Yeah, I would agree. And it does use a lot of foul language. So once they're to an age where they can know when to say that and everything, like I plan on reading this to my son someday, but I gotta know when with all the language that's in it.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, Geoff, where do you want to take us with this?
Awesome.
Yeah, shall we start from the very beginning?
Yeah, let's start with Peekay's childhood. I think the author Bryce, he does a masterful job on like presenting a boy's childhood, and from almost a lot of different angles too, because Peekay he ends up going to the school,
a boarding school
with a lot of very let's say lower income families and different groups, because his mother has a panic attack and basically gets put in a hospital. And so Peekay is kind of left out to fend for himself in this situation, because he's pretty much put out on his own in a situation where he is the only boy of his type there. He was a little blonde British boy, and he got put in a school with a bunch of the Boers of the time. They were the Dutch farmers that had settled the area, and basically everyone kind of hated each other. Each group, the Boers hated the British and the blacks of South Africa, and the blacks hated the Boers and the British weren't very nice to the Boers or the blacks. So lots of conflict that he just got thrust into in this situation. So, I mean, talk about like, facing a lot of adversity from such a young age. And he was only like, what was he, like 5 or 6?
About 5 years old.
Yeah.
It would be like a black kid going to an all-white school in like the 60s, just the way Peekay, like everybody hated him at the school, even the teachers. He was just had a target on his back from day one.
And it doesn't help that he wets the bed while he's there, which makes him this big target. And so they give him the name Pisskop there, which means piss head in, what is it, German?
Afrikaans, I think.
Afrikaans.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And in Peekay specifically talks about the trying to blend in to the background, to just not be seen.
Camouflage.
Yeah, it has that survivor mentality of like, I just need to get through this and be as unseen as possible, which I feel like a lot of people going through some bad adversity could really identify with.
Oh yeah. Well, one thing he specifically talks about, and they relentlessly make fun of, is his little wee.
How do you make that sound professional?
he calls it his hatless snake, because I guess he's circumcised and they're not. And like, as boys, as men, we can understand how demoralizing it would be to be made fun of for that specifically, like your manhood,
especially from such a young age.
Yeah,
you really have no idea like of the standard of anything.
Yeah, you find out, it's a lot of his motivation is to just overcome that. Yeah. So. Oh yeah. Yeah, it's somewhat devastating. The first few chapters, it's very sad and dark. But one of my favorite characters is with him along that time, Grandpa Chook. It's his Kaffir chicken, I guess, is like a black chicken. Probably, I think it describes him as like skinny and missing feathers.
Well, he also mentions in there about how his grandpa had like these not Newcastle. That was the name of the disease that killed his black Orpingtons. They are his pride and joy. So those are like real nice, expensive chickens, whereas a Kaffir chicken's like your run-of-the-mill, just it's a garbage bird kind of thing. Yeah.
But yeah, Grandpa Chook, he's one of my favorite.
One of the greatest characters of all time, and just especially in what he does to the judge in the story. Which
we never mentioned who the judge was. The judge was Peekay's main tormentor in the boarding school, and he was he is like a 12. What was he, 12 or 11?
Yeah, he was. I think
he's like leagues older than Peekay at the time.
So
and him and his buddies are just wailing on him. You feel so bad.
One of the Boer kids, German and Dutch descended, and very, very closely he talks about how he has a swastika tattoo, very like prideful of his heritage kind of mentality.
Literally follows Hitler and like forces Peekay to march. Always taunting Peekay, saying that Hitler's going to come and march him to the sea.
Yeah, and pretty much tells
Peekay
Peekay
no idea who Hitler is.
Yeah, Peekay's just thinking it's going to happen. Tells Peekay, you're guilty of all these crimes because of your people. And like just making Peekay feel like he is the worst possible human being because of it. Yeah.
Just a downright mean kid, just a pure bully. I mean, we can spoil it for sure, just has to be my favorite book, the best book that I've ever read, that brings things back to the beginning, where the end of this story, just is so good. Where the
do
judge.
do you want to say this?
Well, maybe we'll save that for a little later when we get to more of those.
I feel it deserves a little more pageantry.
What does Grandpa Chuck do first? Because we're talking about Grandpa Chuck.
Well, yeah.
Grandpa Chuck.
Yeah, well, the judge is trying to get Peekay to eat poop, and Grandpa Chuck just repays him in kind, poops right in his mouth.
Grandpa Chuck would hang out in this tree, and it was right under the tree that Peekay was being forced to try and eat this poop, and it would just happened to look up in the right moment, and Grandpa Chuck scored one.
The best part about it is the judge is yelling, "Heil Hitler!"
Oh yeah, and he gets a mouthful of chicken poop right at the time too. Oh man,
yes, one of the greatest victories, like even up there with the ring being dropped in the Mount Doom, is the chicken dropping in the judge's mouth.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, well, you don't want to oversell it, but it seriously is like that.
Yeah, and I think that along those themes, Peekay, it's funny because his first ally is just a plain chicken, just the plainest of chickens, and that really goes into one of the themes of the book is that unexpected allies kind of around each corner, where as Peekay goes through his life, he comes to experience a myriad of different people who become his allies and his friends. And they are some of the most unexpected people that he meets. And it really goes to contrast with the racial divisions that are brought up in the story, especially so early on in Peekay's life, where he's being basically told that because he's British, he has done all these horrible things, even though he's just this innocent little boy. And so kind of going through Peekay's childhood, he's experienced such a hard time, and with his only friend, this trashy chicken, and of course, leading up to one of the saddest moments in the book. Also, it's just such a tragedy so early on, but along with, of course, the judge wanted his revenge on this chicken after being humiliated so much by it, and it leads to one of the saddest moments.
Yeah, I think I remember when I was reading hardcover, and I would read it before work, and I remember getting out of my truck at work, seeing you, and I'd be just saying, "I thought you said this was supposed to be a happy book. It's so sad."
Being along with you on that journey was great.
Oh man, yeah, those first few chapters, I was feeling it so bad for Peekay because his life was such a living hell, and he just could not understand why.
Yeah,
I had so much sympathy for him.
Oh, but the next part that comes is where, like, the light at the end of the tunnel where he meets Hoppy is just, it's so impactful.
I love
because
Hoppy.
of how bad things were for him at the boarding school, and then he meets Hoppy is just such a cool, just the impact of it was so much more because of the contrast.
And really, he only knows Hoppy for such a short time, and yet it shows how much
it
impact one person
throughout the rest of the book.
Yeah, it's kind of, that's one of the primary themes is the power of one, much influence one person can have, and Hoppy being again such a short time period that Peekay knew him, but such an influence on him, and really I think the biggest thing was Hoppy's positivity, right? Like Peekay,
but also Hoppy was a boar.
Yeah.
And Peekay's first experience with boars were
awful.
And then thinking this is how all boars are, he comes to find, they're not all like that. There are good ones. And that, I think that's kind of what I get from the power of one, is it's the power of the individual. There's racist people everywhere, but there's good people in every aspect.
Yeah, and that's something very difficult for a lot of writers to balance, because we're very tribal in mindset as people, would you say? And I think Bryce Courtenay does a great job of showing, people are different. Their nationality does not define them. Like the only other time I've seen that kind of writing happened was in Avatar: The Last Airbender, where they're showing not all firebenders are bad, and some of the waterbenders have a terrible mindset, and some of the earthbenders are corrupt.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
That is a good comparison. Yeah, because there's those very distinct classes in Avatar as well as in the story with the South Africans. So yeah, that's a good comparison.
Yeah, but Hoppy is just back to the power of one. Hoppy is just such a. If the sporting school was the lowest of the low, if it was the pit, Hoppy is just Mount Everest. Like Peekay only spends 2 days with Hoppy, and yet you're just so happy to have Peekay be spending time with him, with someone who cares about him, who's friends with him, who just
I mean, he just puts Peekay's purpose in his mind to be the welterweight champion of the world.
Which boxing champion. So it's that's another big theme in the book is you didn't think you'd be reading a book about boxing, especially a book titled The Power of One. You're like, oh, is this a self-help book?
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, it's a poor little kid being bullied in boarding school. And then you're like, oh, this is about boxing. and it's one of the best boxing stories of all time.
Yeah. Talk about action and how action should be written. I think this book is a perfect example. I think, I don't know about you guys, but I like when those boxing fights are described, I'm like in there.
Oh yeah.
Living it.
I love it so much. Oh,
especially Hoppy's first victory with what was his iron
Jackhammer
Schmidt. Yeah. And Hoppy beats him, and you're just like, and Peekay's cheering, and you're cheering, and you're like, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's so great because you see that Peekay learns that little can beat big, because they're always called Jackhammer Schmidt, or at least Hoppy is. Oh, that's a big gorilla.
Yeah. As long as you have a plan, first with the head, then with the heart.
Yes, with the head, then with the heart. Then you'll go right from the start.
So it is kind of a self-help book in a way.
Well, if you're thinking that way, then every book is a self-help book. As long as it's teaching truth, at least.
No.
This does a good job.
Yeah. But probably the next part in the story is the part of the story where I am most critical about, I'd say, is my least favorite part.
Oh.
I feel like Big Hetty
could have been.
Yeah.
I don't know, could have been taken out of the story.
Yeah, I think she could have been omitted.
I don't know. It's for me, it's so impactful because I'd say with Peekay's first experience with death is with Grandpa Chook, right? And it really, that's one of the other themes in the book is death. And Big Hetty is kind of that other. It's almost a contrast in death, right? Because Grandpa Chook was so tragic, and even though Big Hetty, she kind of dies because she's overweight, she's very unhealthy, and she
literally can't get off
the ground.
They can't pick her up,
stuck on this train, but even then she dies almost more positively, right? And it shows kind of a contrast to Peekay, that not all death is so tragic like Grandpa Chook. And so, I mean, it is a extra theme in there, especially, in a moment where Peekay is experiencing Hoppy, and there's that kind of influencing him, that shows how there's this other thing that's influencing him as well.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I agree with you, Greg, because I was like, when she dies, I was like, wait, what? This came out of left field for me. This is really weird. But to give her credit, she did kind of give more nuance to Peekay's mindset at the time, where she said, Hoppy, he doesn't really hate. He's too optimistic. He's too positive. And Peekay's so confused, wait, how you're supposed to hate? It's good to hate, kind of thing, which he learns later down in the book. You have to learn to channel that rage and that what's the word I'm looking for? Despisement towards another person for a good cause kind of thing. So she had a purpose, but I still feel like
there's some funny moments.
A little weird.
Funny moments in that in that part for sure. But yeah, I mean, it's so you see this theme where Peekay is like a sponge. He's just picking up every person he meets. Like there was the Jew that he met where he got his tackies.
Oh, yeah.
Larry Crown, that's where he got PK. That was before he met Hoppy. Every person he came across, he's like a sponge and just absorbs like the good and the lessons from it.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and kind of going back to the theme, how like it is that one person that can be a positive influence on somebody to basically change the course of his life.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, because to say like if PK hadn't met Hoppy, you really couldn't say that any of this story would have happened, right?
Oh, no.
It was like he was the catalyst for everything else in PK's life and everything else good in his life as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So beyond that, I think going further in, we can talk more about the other friends he meets, and I think the next big one is Doc, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he goes home. Well, to his new home, where they moved to.
Living with his grandpa.
Yeah, his grandpa and his mom. But he also loses his nanny, which is
pretty much his mom to his mind. He loved her, and she was a Zulu.
She was his wet nurse too.
Yeah.
Pretty much raising him from little baby and mentoring him throughout his childhood and even being a huge part of him overcoming his bedwetting problem, which involved a Zulu medicine man, and he came in and then again introducing him to Grandpa Chook, I believe, right?
Yeah,
it was her in the medicine man.
Cozy
Kazi.
Again, this book is so well written because you will just start saying these names and phrases like throughout your day, and you'll look a little crazy because you'll be like Kazi because it's so fun to say.
That's one thing I think we all would recommend is if you are a hard book reader, read it along with the audiobook. Just Humphrey Bauer does such a good job.
Yeah, I fully recommend Humphrey Bauer. I'm always like quoting, whenever I quote the book, I'm trying to sound like his voice with every character.
His accents are so good.
And it might come out in this. I might look like a lunatic, but hey, I'm here to have fun.
If you're straight reading it, it's going to be a challenge too, because there's like Hoppy's last name is spelled like Groenwald, but it's pronounced Hunavar.
Hunavad.
Something like that. And like Borders.
Talk about problems with dyslexia, right?
Yeah.
Challenge
Exactly. That's why I did the audio.
Yeah.
But anyways, Doc. Yeah. Doc is a pretty cool cat.
Oh, that's putting it pretty lightly. So Peekay doesn't have a father, and you're never given an explanation on what happened to his father in the book. But Doc kind of steps into that role. At least that's what I would say. He pretty much fulfills that role for Peekay, being his like, he's not just a piano teacher, but he's like more of a professor for him. They like go out and study plants together, teaches him how to study things, catalog information, remember it.
Professor. Yeah, who's boarding with them, right? Or is he?
No, he lives there.
Yeah.
He
lives there.
Yeah, he's a resident of that town.
But he's moved there from Germany, and he has kind of a mysterious background to PK, but he's a very well-educated man.
During World War II.
Yeah. So this is another theme of race at the time, because they end up arresting Doc just under the pretense that he's German.
Just because he's a German.
And they were at war with the Germans at the time.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Which the South Africa being under British control, which is why they arrested Doc, because they were worried about German influences. But even then, PK's still able to be in contact with him, which leads him further into the path of his life, with Doc introducing him to music and almost a more calmer passion of like being educated, and rather than just being so aggressive with boxing. PK learns a contrast of education is important, music is important, there's time for peace. And
well, he was always advanced. Like at the boarding school, he ends up doing the judge's homework.
He was doing that all the time,
and manipulates the judge. And
that's right.
do the homework.
so he can get some,
Yeah, he's
get
still
off
pretty
on
clever,
something.
and he's known since he was
Yeah.
raised by a Zulu, and he's also British, and at the boarding
Pretty
school
much
with
understands the
Afrikaners.
languages.
He
Yeah. So I
knows
think
he has,
Doc for
3
sure
languages.
saw his potential
Mhm.
and wanted to bring out, the most of his potential. And I think Doc knew from the get-go that music wasn't really his thing, but he could see how smart and how capable Peekay was, and that's why he wanted to tutor him.
Oh yeah,
and bring him up.
Yeah, Hoppy might be my favorite character in the book, but Doc is probably the one I quote the most, and the one I learned the most from. Like since I mentioned my son's name is Peekay to me, I quote Doc every night. Every time I tell Peekay good night, I tell him he's 11 out of 10, Peekay. Absoluto. That's the last thing my son hears before he goes to bed every night.
Anytime I'm in a restaurant, the food's good. 11 out of 10. Absoluto.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yep. Doc he's pretty cool. Big impact character for Peekay for sure.
Yeah, but he constantly supports him through his boxing, through many things.
Yeah.
And but because he gets put in prison, most of his time spent in the book is in prison, which is he's a prisoner with a lot of freedoms, like open cell, and they take his Steinway in there so he can play music.
He's able to visit him on a regular
all
basis.
the time.
Yeah. But this path of Doc going to prison allows Peekay to start boxing, where he meets Lieutenant Schmidt, which is Jackhammer Schmidt's brother, I think, right?
Yes.
So
shows again Hoppy's influence for getting Peekay somewhere, because
exactly.
it was him knowing Lieutenant Schmidt's brother that
and being at that fight that Schmidt was like, okay, maybe I will teach you.
Because Peekay is a small kid. It's kind of established from the beginning. He's pretty tiny.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yep.
And then he just starts boxing with all the boys in the prison, and he really shows his dedication too, because he's 6 years old at this time.
Prison guard started a boxing club, so it wasn't necessarily like boys in prison. It was like boys in the community. Yeah. Well,
Peekay's not hanging out with a chain gang.
I mean, he is in prison, hanging out with the prisoners, but he's
Barberton Blues.
These boys boxing club that the prison guards had started, that Lieutenant Schmidt was leading, that Peekay kind of becomes a part of, and but then even then, it's a specific prisoner in the prison that becomes his like true boxing mentor.
Heel Pete.
Heel Pete. And that's another name that you'll get wrong if you read the book, because it's spelled like Geel and then Piet. So I was like, Geel Piet?
Unless you're South African. But Heel Pete. He's like a lifelong prisoner. He's the
punching bag of a lot of the guards.
Punching bag of a lot of the guards, but he's also the what do you call that person that brings in outside goods? Smuggler. Smuggles things into the prison, and somehow Peekay gets wrapped up into being a
somehow he starts smuggling tobacco.
Which is so awesome.
Yeah, the prisoners all love him for
under
it.
the guise of a what is it called? A letter writing.
A letter writing.
Earl of Sandwich.
Yeah, the Earl of Sandwich Fund. And then they turned them into like letters to King George, so they called them Georgies. King Georgies. But I guess with Heel Pete, that's another theme of camouflage. He's shows as a lifelong prisoner, like he's able to blend into the background because he's so used to being the punching bag that he knows like how to avoid it. He knows when to sense it coming, and he knows like when not to avoid it, so he doesn't raise suspicion. And I think Humphrey Bauer does a good job with his voice and with like a lot of the other, like the Swahili and the Zulu, a lot of the African people, the African blacks, because even though they're an oppressed people, the way Bryce Courtenay writes it and Humphrey Bauer reads it, like I could not help but love those people and just think, man, these people are like such a magical treasure to the land of Africa, and they just never seemed to have a deep seat. Well, they had some resentment towards the whites for good reason. I can't blame them, but like it didn't seem to be this bitter, awful, like to the bone or to the core kind of hatred.
Showed how there were characters who could be so negatively influenced by British and Boers in the past, but even though Peekay being a little British boy, they didn't let that come in between them. That they still, like, Heel Pete loved Peekay, and even all the other African prisoners in there, they loved Peekay. He was their little star, their little shining light. Not just because he was bringing them tobacco, but he was.
That's definitely how it started.
Yeah. But it showed like that they didn't let that affect how they treated this little boy who really had no idea of this racial discrimination or no hatred in his heart.
Yeah, he's a great contrast to the judge, because the judge hated Peekay right off the bat just for being British. And where, like, I guess you could understand, like, the judge was probably raised off of the Boer tales of, yeah, the British came in and they just took everything of ours and we're enslaved to them. Whereas Heel Pete, seeing another white kid, could have thought the exact same thing. Like, oh, here's another oppressor inside the prison for me. And yet he doesn't think that at all, which really goes to show your circumstances don't have to define your mindset, which is a lot easier to say than do. But that's such a great belief that I would love to just be at a better hold of in my life.
Shows again just the value of this book and presenting these themes. And
for sure. Yeah, and definitely one of the more tragic parts in the book when Peekay finds Heel Pete.
Do we want to talk about Peekay's first fight though? Before?
I mean, of course. So good.
Great.
Or I mean, his first few fights. That was
actually, there was like what, 3
like
fights that day?
Yeah. Goes through them all. Killer Cruin. That's right. They call him
Killer Cruin.
Killer Cruin. But yeah. Like I said, the action from the boxing is just so good. Like, and the humor, like Bryce Courtenay's humor is so good too. I don't know if I guess he's Australian, right?
Yeah.
So
I think so. Yeah.
I mean, he lives in Australia. He might have been raised in South Africa.
Yeah. But British and Australians, for some reason, have great sense of humor.
Oh yeah, there's this good dryness to it a lot of times.
Yeah.
Well, you can tell when you read or listen to it, the way Bryce Courtenay writes Peekay's fights, and the whole book is in first person. So it's like he's just recounting the story from like his memory. You can tell in the middle of the boxing, he's like really reveling the memory. Like you can tell he's enjoying like reliving this moment, just thinking, yeah, this was really great when I did this, or when I pulled this combo right here.
Yeah.
I was really scared here, but then like when he says Killer Kroon was like telegraphing his movements from a mile away. Just you can tell in the way Humphrey Bauer reads it's like with a chuckle behind it all, just like he's insulting his opponents. I love it.
For sure. Yeah, I wonder like how much of it is actually a biography.
Right, yeah, because it says a lot of it is based off of his time growing up. So yeah, I do wonder how much of it like really happened.
Oh
yeah.
Was there a gaffer chicken?
Was there really a Happy Hunabam?
Exactly.
Yeah, did Bryce Courtenay become the welterweight champion of the world?
I think we can look that one up if that was the case.
I did see this review where this girl was talking about how she was living in Australia, and actually Bryce Courtenay is like a national treasure there.
Oh
like,
yeah.
I mean, I have never heard of him here in the U.S. But then like I guess in Australia he is like a big author there. So awesome. There has to be some. It'd be interesting to dive into his backstory a little bit.
Yeah.
Find out how much of it is actually related to the book and other things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. One thing I love, actually, kind of get back to Heel Pete. I love like kind of Lieutenant Schmidt's character arc.
Mm-hmm.
Like at the beginning, he doesn't seem like overly racist or overly abusive to the inmates, but he's not like stepping in to prevent. I think like when you first meet Heel Pete, what's the character? Lieutenant Schmidt's
Clip Clop?
Clip Cop.
Yeah, Clip Clop.
Clip Cop thinks Heel Pete ate the biscuits, and so he beats him. Lieutenant Smith, he doesn't. He kind of chuckles.
Yeah, he doesn't intervene.
Doesn't intervene, but then he's like, "I ate the biscuits, Clip Cop."
Yeah.
maybe ask before you start beating. But then,
definitely something that doesn't make you like Lieutenant Schmidt, but like the writing doesn't
make him seem like overly like of a bad person. But towards where Heel Pete is murdered, you see like how much it affected Lieutenant Schmidt, and like when they took their photos too, Lieutenant Schmidt was one of the only ones that stayed.
Yeah,
in
he
the
actually,
photo with Heel Pete.
wanted to stand with Heel Pete, and that's when
Tuesday. That was such a powerful moment, and even after the fact, there was still some. You could see like some of his prejudice comes out even after, but it was the moment of pride where he made Heel Pete stay for the photo that they all took for the boxing club. And that moment, you can just feel the tension because they were trying to kick Heel Pete out, and then makes him stay. Yeah,
and that's the time that Peekay like even notes to himself, man, racism is a true evil. Like that's when he makes note of it. And later Lieutenant Smith tries to kind of backpedal a bit, where he's like getting promoted in the prison, so he's like, I don't want that picture to be seen, like let's not make it known. But he doesn't like try to fully expunge it completely, but he doesn't like lot it around or anything.
But I think they all came to love Heel Pete in their own way, and like Lieutenant Schmidt does what he can to kind of avenge him to Borman. So I kind of love that character arc.
Well, it shows, I think, a large part of Peekay's influence on these people. As he's meeting
exactly.
And Peekay is obviously always keeping like the people that die in his life that he really loved alive throughout the book, because he makes mention of them throughout in later chapters. Like when he's getting trained by other boxing coaches, they're always like, wow, you were taught good. Who taught you how to box, kid?
You must have the best coach.
Yeah, you must have had the best coach.
What British man was your
coach?
And
he just says, oh, Heel Pete. And they're like, you tell him he did a good job. Well, I
Meneer
can't. He's dead. Meneer Heel Pete. And then he just tells him, he's dead. I can't tell him that. And they're like, oh, man.
And I guess Heel Pete is pretty obvious, like African name. So when he says Heel Pete, they're like, oh, it's an African.
Yeah, they're just like super surprised. Like, what?
Or a black African, I should specify. But anyways.
Oh yeah. Well, I think that part of the prison arc is including Doc, and it's interesting because boxing is definitely one of the biggest drivers in the book, but it also, there's, I think, especially for the first half, not so much for the second part of the book, but the first part is music, and it shows the influence on Peekay's life, because not only is boxing so integrated in the prison, but music becomes such a big impact, especially amongst the prisoners, because Doc is writing this what do you call it?
A concert or a symphony.
It's supposed to include
the African
kind
people.
Of all the African
tribes
and aspects of their music. And really, again, part of listening to the audiobook, you get to hear some of the kind of African style music playing along with the narration. And there's this moment as Peekay is being a part of this concert where all the prisoners are being involved and all the prisoners are singing. And there are some moments where, Lieutenant Schmidt comes in clutch and helps allow this to happen, while some other prison guards are trying to stop it and put it like kind of the kibosh on it. But like as the music crescendos in the book, and as the author's reading about this experience, that as they're performing this concert, you can almost feel, you talk about like feeling the boxing moments while you're there. For me, this is one of my favorite moments of the book, is when this concert's happening and you just feel the magic of the music. and how like Peekay explains how you could feel the cultures, the happiness, the sadness of the African people, and like what has happened to them in their history, and just the beauty of it. And like as an archaeologist, like this, like the study of cultures, this really shows the value of music within culture and how much it can impact and influence people.
Yeah, earlier in my summary, I mentioned there was like a theme of mysticism, which I think it's all owed to the African people in this book, like the Zulus, the Swahilis, the Shangaan. They all have like this unexplainable magic to them. Like he even makes mention how the prisoners know things before it's even told to them. And he refers to them all as the people, and just with that concert and how they all just are coming together and having their emotions personified in such a new way. And you see it throughout the whole time. And it's true. I'm having such a hard time putting it into words because you got to read the book, guys.
It is magical.
It's so good.
It is magical.
Yeah.
Peekay, along those lines, Peekay even has dreams, like almost mystical dreams that influence him and become a big part of his life.
Yeah.
Back when Ngozi and Kozikazi
Ngozi
helped him with his bed water or his night water. Yeah. Well, yeah, and that's, I guess, Peekay is kind of the chosen one.
It's kind of like a bridge between
where
the oppressed and
he's there to unite all the tribes and all the people of Africa.
Yeah, like kind of without asking, Peekay like becomes this symbol to all
the tadpole angel.
Yeah, which the Inshobi
Ingolosi. Yeah, another wonderful word.
Inshobi Ingolosi.
Which is another like nickname I give to my boy every now and then. My little tadpole angel kind of thing.
That's the nickname given to Peekay by the prisoners.
By the people.
Which it really like shows kind of their, like, I don't want to say primitive of sounding like disdainful or like condescending to them, but you know, these are people who are out in the wilds of Africa, and the reason they call him Tadpole Angel, I think, really helps illustrate how they think so well, because they call Doc the frog because he plays his music at night. Just like how the frogs sing and croak all at night, and they see Peekay as a student. And also the guy, you know, he can speak all our languages. He's giving us tobacco. He's giving us our letters from our wives and our children. He's giving us hope. So like he's the Tadpole Angel, which I was like, oh my gosh, that's brilliant.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. It's like it's the translation of their tribal language, but the way it goes from Shobi Ngolosi, which is a very musically sounding word, right? Like that is a beautiful name, a beautiful word, but then you hear Tadpole Angel sounds very rough in English. Yeah.
And kind of silly.
Yeah, it does kind of sound kind of silly, but I do love how he like finds out his nickname when like the prison gang are all out working, and he sees like one of the officers who knows him. They're just singing it praises to him in front of him, and he understands. He realizes the prisoner,
they're singing about him.
Yeah, but the prison warden doesn't, and he's like, "What the?" He's like all blushing, and they're like,
"Yeah."
And the prison warden's like, "Peekay, you cheeky blighter, what are you blushing about?" Just like so confused about it.
Yeah. Oh, I got it. I mean, back to the humor of Bryce Courtenay. I forgot to mention one of my favorite parts. We passed it. Christianity is there's kind of a theme of that, and
the mother is a born again Christian. That's kind of what saves her from her mental breakdown.
Yeah, and she has like a maid or something that she's, what's her? I can't remember.
D and Dumb? Are you thinking?
No, not D and Dumb.
Are you talking about the nurse Marie?
Marie.
Yeah,
yes, Marie.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
But I guess the first part where Peekay, I can't.
It's when Peekay's asking like, "Where's Nanny?" Because you know that's mom, and
yep. The Lord is a shithead.
Yeah. His mom says I had to send her away because she would not submit to the Lord. Like she wouldn't get rid of her.
That's right.
Heathenistic ways, and that's when Peekay says that line.
This was again when he was like 6 or 7.
Yeah, 6 years
Yeah.
old.
Young little innocent boy, just he's not understanding.
Doesn't
It's
know
like,
who the Lord is.
why would and the nanny being is such a good influence in his life. Like, why would she get sent away by the Lord? Who is this Lord person?
Yeah, I do love the way he reasons who the Lord is in his mind. Like when he talks to himself about it, like when he's trying to convince his mom
From
if
a
I should
born-again
box.
perspective.
Yeah, if I should box, like, well, from what I can tell, the Lord is a guy, and guys like boxing. So why would he have a problem with boxing?
Yeah. Yeah. It just really captures like the mind of a child just so well.
Of a young kid,
Yeah.
just trying to figure things out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and like one of my other favorite parts is when Marie is praying that he gets the supplies for school. It's so funny.
Oh yeah. Wait, I think my favorite part of that is she's like praying, like she's put her whole body into it.
Yeah.
And she's like, hold the list up to the Lord, Peek. And he's like,
tell him what you need.
yeah, he's like holding the list up to the ceiling, just like,
Like, okay.
okay. I
shirts.
guess he can see it. Yeah, he's like reading it off.
Shoes.
And he's just so confused.
The Lord will provide.
Well, maybe like, I hope I'm not delineating from anything here, but we're all Christians here. And this book, I would say, definitely doesn't favor Christianity the best way, because it's all from the born again perspective. And
Yeah.
if anything, this book told me, like, okay, now I understand why people think Christians are so annoying. If this is how they acted throughout the generations, all of history.
A little overbearing.
Yeah. And just condescending too.
I think very specifically born again Christian.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of, because there were like, I can't remember. I think Doc was Catholic or something, and like you can see like he's very calm and not even very religious at all. But the born again was such an influence on PK's life. It kind of gave him a negative aspect of Christianity from how they practice things.
Yeah, and then he had great experiences with Jews.
Yeah, and like it didn't help that his Pastor Mulvey, was kind of like, I don't know. I thought he was such a weird guy. I don't know what you guys thought of him.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But like I do love how in one of his like lessons, Pastor Mulvey's lessons in Sunday school, when Peekay's there, and Peekay, being the smart kid that he is, just like asking all these questions, like, what does that mean? Pastor Mulvey's talking about like the many mansions that my Father has prepared for us. And like one of the kids asking, does that mean there'll be Kafirs up there with us in heaven? And, the prejudice at the time was like, well, no, they're not going to be in heaven with us. And like PK is asking like, well, if we're all equal in the sight of the Lord, why do they have to have their own separate mansion? Like, it just goes to show kids are not born racist. It's definitely taught, in my opinion.
Indoctrinated.
They'll definitely see, like, kids are able to see through crap through this bullshit.
Shows kind of the purity in PK's heart, how he was initially a good person, and he saw the good in the people around him, and it was people like Hoppy and Heel Pete that showed like, it doesn't matter like your color of your skin or where you came from, but like really who you were.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. The power of the individual.
Oh yeah, power one. I think we can get into this. Is the first part, like the half of the book.
Yeah,
so much is happening,
and so much goes on,
and it really like I'd say music, as much as boxing is kind of the main driving force for PK. I think music is probably the first half, because after PK kind of leaves the prison and starts deciding going to another boarding school, boxing really becomes the big thing for him, because music is what gets him into school, I believe.
His education. He's just genius.
He was taught how to study, how to keep track of information, and he even attributes one of his good qualities of like a photographic memory to his mom, whom often is an obstacle or kind of antagonistic towards his goals. His mom is, but
almost
he attributes
seems
some
a little
good things to her.
removed from his life.
Oh, yeah. You can tell she's kind of just been on the sideline, but trying to be a bigger influence on him, especially with the Christianity. But then, not kind of being a hindrance in the process of it.
Yeah, but he gets into that boarding school, and that's when boxing becomes more focused. But you also get to see him like adapt, which I thought the way he adapts is pretty funny, thanks to Jaime. Well, in the book it's Maury, in the audiobook it's Jaime.
Yeah.
I'm not sure why, but
we don't know why that is.
Me and Derek were having we were talking about the book, and he's like, Maury guy. I'm like,
friend.
who's Maury?
You're like, who the heck is Maury? And I remember you like,
Jaime?
You kept telling me Jaime. Yeah. And like, I was like, yeah, whatever. And then you like spent all this time just looking through the audiobook to show me. And I would like, the moment you brought it up, the moment was past, and I was like, so mad. I was like, you're still on that? Come on, I believed you. You didn't need to prove yourself, you jackwagon.
Oh yeah, Jaime, just a wonderful character who. It's funny because this whole process, Peekay is learning how you shouldn't give into stereotypes, you shouldn't follow them, you shouldn't believe them, and Jaime or Maury was literally is all about stereotypes. Like he constantly talks about how he's going to be a lawyer because he's a Jew,
and his dad's rich and has all this money, and
because he's a Jew, and
he's like, I'm going to be oppressed because I'm a Jew. Like he's banking on those stereotypes.
Yeah.
Which I guess kind of backtracking, but that does remind me of another one of I think the funny parts, like one of Peekay's teachers, Miss Bornstein, who's a Jew as well, and like Peekay has like a little schoolboy crush on her.
Yeah,
but
madly in love.
Yeah, one of the funniest things I think is when he's like talking to Heel Pete and Doc in the prison about like, what should I do? And Doc's just like, I don't really know. Like my experience with women is the floozies who tried to hit on me after my concerts, and like Heel Pete's like, I'm not messing with that. Like I'm just seeing these three guys just trying to figure out the female mind, and they're all just like, I'm clueless, and they're all just geniuses in their own way.
But can't figure out the way of the woman.
Mm-hmm.
We still are, aren't we? If you guys figure it out, you tell me.
It'll be a mystery forever.
I mean, I think that this goes into the subject of boyhood, right? Like, you see, like Peekay being a young boy confused about his little wee wee,
his hatless
snake, and then as he grows older, it is a very visceral and shocking part of the book because you kind of don't expect it. But then he talks about how like the boys in the dormitory are leaving their rooms with the towels on their morning snakes.
They're pitching tents,
and then it even gets into subjects about masturbation, and you're just like, whoa, what the heck? Whoa! And it's one of the reasons this book isn't quite for little kids or young boys. Really should be, and it kind of, but in the end, you can tell like it's not so much talking frivolously about it, but it talks about how these are kind of negative impacts on Peekay in the time.
It's just a natural part of being a young boy and going through puberty.
Exactly.
You just experience just overwhelming urges.
Peekay talks about that exactly. So it is such a coming of age story.
So true to like childhood.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, just the shenanigans he gets up with Jaime at boarding school is
so
just great.
Crazy to me.
It shows how smart they both are because they end up influencing the headmaster, St. John Burns, or St. Burns, who they're trying to start a boxing club for the black kids.
Oh no, they're trying to start a tutorship for
tutoring.
Just all Africans.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which again, there's so much prejudice in there, but they end up figuring out a way to basically force him.
Yes, because he's a liberal thinker.
Yeah, he's a Renaissance man.
Yeah,
and they like give a script to Gideon Mondoma, the African kid they want to have talk to St. John Burns, the teacher. Like, okay, say this stuff, and this like he's gonna eat it up, and then he goes like off script, and they're like, yeah, this is even better.
Well, I mean, Jaime. The big con or whatever they call it when St. John Burns list
of like the best students.
Yeah, of the best students.
Mhm.
Jaime like influenced all of that.
Oh
so,
yeah.
Dude.
so it came out to where no matter what, they were gonna win the payoff. They were gonna.
It
The
just
odds
blows my
were
mind that
in
the
their
whole
favor.
time in this school, like Jaime and Peekay are setting up books for betting and gambling and
Oh,
stuff.
being
And-
a bank.
yeah, they like have a
Making
bank
tons of money.
and they like are writing letters to Miss Bornstein, who was giving them more accurate information, so they have better tech. They make their own textbook, and I'm just like, wait, what is this? A kid doing? Are these kids doing all this
It
stuff?
reminds me of like Ender from Ender's Game, just like his level of genius and being able to
Yeah.
manipulate the system.
Yeah. I mean, they're like what, middle school age
Yeah.
at this point, high school age, early high
Are
school.
they?
14.
Yeah, 13, 14.
Yeah.
Probably.
I think.
Mhm.
So, yeah, just kind of fascinating. Just the shenanigans they get up to, for sure.
And, along the lines of PK's genius is kind of a standout, and really he could kind of go along any career path, but again, Hoppy's influence on him,
Yeah, and
become
his
the welterweight
obsession.
champion, kind of it leads him to discard some of his education in pursuit of his boxing career. Like that is his main goal.
Well, definitely, like when he applies at Oxford and they interview him, they notice his obsession with boxing and how that's going to affect his education for sure. He's not going to be able to put all he needs to in education if he's going to be focusing on becoming the welterweight champion of the world.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they see it kind of as like a primitive hobby and
Mm-hmm.
not a refined like trait to make him a man of intellect.
Wasn't quite to the status of boxing that it is nowadays, where boxers are like world renowned, like Rocky Balboa style.
Well,
like
I mean, even back
characters.
then, they talk about Joe Louis, who was the American champion, heavyweight champion of the world. And that was Hoppy's nickname.
Kid Lewis.
Kid Lewis.
Yeah, that's right.
So, I mean, boxing was still big. I just don't think probably in Africa it was huge.
Yeah, Africa or Britain and stuff, because
Yeah.
Oxford's in Britain, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
In England.
England.
Bigger
Sorry.
in Britain.
Yeah, sorry. I'm so uncultured. I
in
don't
the
know my
UK.
geography.
You uncultured swine.
Oh, whatever it's called. Yeah. But I think then that leads to PK because they've been making money. Him and Jaime have been making money through school, but they don't quite have enough for PK to kind of fully get into Oxford. And this is again
Well,
where the
first he wanted to be coached by the best.
oh yeah.
And
And that's
Solly
where he spends
Goldman.
his money.
Yes, Solly Goodman
Yeah.
spends his money there. And that's from the big score. That's how they are able to pay for that. But because he paid for that, he doesn't have enough money to pay for Oxford.
That's right. Yeah.
And so then that's why he decides to go work at the mine, also to like build muscle and
He also, it was kind of like a stubborn choice of I want to be independent, because
Yeah.
throughout the whole book he's getting, I don't want to say free handouts, but like they're like very, I guess destiny is the best kind of way to put, like it's like
tons of
Jaime,
a lot of charity from other people. Like Doc took him under his wing, and
Jaime talks about how like he would give one day to spend one day with Doc,
then
being like his situation.
Yeah.
He just came from Silver Spoon, got money, everything paid for.
Yeah, and PK like started from the bottom and rose to the top, but like he was really helped out by a lot of Doc took him under his wing, healed Pete, took him aside and made him the best boxer he could. Jaime even came and like gave him his smarts on handling money and doing business. So I remember in the book he says like, this is my chance to be on my own. And he kind of wanted to be away from the whole tadpole angel thing as well, because the people like built him up as this, I guess you could say, chosen one, like you said earlier.
Yeah.
And he kind of wanted to escape that as well, because it was put a lot of expectation on him that he did not ask for.
Well, we missed the part where he has to box like the chief, up and coming chief.
Mondoma.
Gideon Mondoma,
which is also the true son of PK's nanny, in the very
Yeah,
beginning,
which is such,
which creates a conflict between them because Peekay was raised by Gideon's mother, who couldn't raise Gideon because she was raising Peekay.
Which, that when I read that, I was like, this seems like some crazy, like TV show anime stuff. I was like, this can't be real.
Oh yeah,
but I was like enraptured and engrossed in the whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, it really is beautiful though, because they see at the end after Peekay fights him and wins, and almost fulfills the prophecy of him being the tadpole angel, being the person to unite. Gideon calls him his brother, which is just very beautiful to me. Just even though that if I was Gideon, I would be angry at this person for taking my mother away from me, but just the ability to forgive, and realize that it wasn't Peekay who caused his mother to be taken away or anything like that.
Yeah, that's why I find the African people so fascinating in this novel, is because like the whole time I see them have such a higher mindset than anyone seems to have from in the novel, like any of the Boers or the English.
There's like a great humility amongst them.
Yeah, great understanding of higher things. It's amazing, and I just loved the African people for it. Like if I end up going to Africa, I would love to associate with these people. It would be so great.
Yeah. I mean, this is like the most that I've learned about Africa. It's definitely a history and a place that I do not know much about, but certainly fascinating for sure.
It's funny because I after reading this book, rereading it a number of times, I came to realize how many books I've read that take place in Africa, and it's kind of surprised me because I really didn't expect it, but how much I absolutely loved these stories, and a lot of them were like associated with the tribal people of Africa, or the native people of Africa, the native groups, and like just how much their stories are, how special their stories are, and how influencing they are on like actual like culture and like you said, like the higher mindsets they can have for sure. I mean, granted, there's plenty of bad groups in Africa and plenty of negative influence, and you can tell like there's even infighting amongst the different groups, but then Peekay is kind of supposed to be a uniting character amongst them,
which I'm like, for a piece of fiction that's not fantasy, I feel like it goes kind of tries to tread into that territory lightly every now. Maybe that's why I loved the African people so much, because they kind of add that magic. They add that mysticism, that unexplainable factor where logic does not have front and center seat.
It's very interesting, like where the book leads to next. It is kind of a left turn from like the whole theme of the story, where Peekay does want to go out on his own, try and like make money on his own. Jaime offers to pay for his college, but he doesn't want to accept a handout type thing. But it's really kind of amazing, like where this story leads on to. Just such a different theme from the rest of it.
Yeah, it's kind of a shocking conclusion. We're all talking about how we trying to save it for the podcast, but we just can't help but enjoy this book so much, and how surprising the ending is. Not surprising, not only in like how it ends, but like the fact that it ends. Like you're expecting to read on about Peekay becoming the welterweight champion of the world, but then it's literally Peekay goes to this mine. He gets this massive life insurance payout from this friend he made at the mine, who ends up dying and making Peekay his beneficiary. And then it's like, now he has the money to go to Oxford, but there's one final thing he has to take care of. And he ends up,
like just the one thing that was like the driving force, the thing that just somebody made fun of his penis.
Some character at the very beginning, the judge.
No, it's really amazing. I love that part in the mines, like the Rasputin. It honestly makes me cry every time, like the length that he went through to save PK, just giving his life to save him. Really amazing. Such a cool part of the story for sure.
Oh yeah, in the mines, like reading it, you can see how much is left, and when the mines come, there's not very many pages. So when I got to the mine, I was like, okay, we're gonna get some resolution. Yeah, how's he gonna tie this
get the
all in?
welterweight championship?
And I'm just thinking, he said goodbye to all his friends, because probably my favorite factor of this book and how Bryce Courtenay writes it is he really makes you love the characters that PK loves.
And even characters you know so briefly.
Yeah, even the ones that are brief. And so when he left to the mines, I'm just thinking, okay, I'm not going to meet anyone else that's going to really pull my heartstrings. I'm going to invest a lot of emotion. But Rasputin, the one friend PK has in the mines who he spends all this time with, who he goes to like the Western movies that are shown, the matinee showings. And when PK has his accident in the mine, is miraculously alive under all the rubble, and Rasputin just refuses to let anyone get to him but him. And it just really shows how much PK meant to Rasputin. And I was like, you gotta be kidding me. He's doing it again, like right from left field in like the 11th hour. Bryce Courtenay is just making me feel so sad and love this man that I wish could just live and be a part of PK's life like Doc was and stuff. But he dies from exhaustion. And
it was amazing. So they couldn't even communicate with each other.
Yeah, like very rudimentary.
Yeah. But they were like great friends. Rasputin just loved PK.
Yeah, to the point where he makes him his primary benefactor of his life insurance policy.
Shows the influence just in the person PK became to be such an influence on somebody that he could barely communicate with.
Yeah, just the fact that he spent time with him and like didn't hate him and despise him, because he was like, with all the people PK becomes friends with, like we mentioned a bunch of them, like first is a chicken, then Hoppy a Boer, Doc a German, Heel Pete a Kafir, Jaime a Jew, and now a Russian.
Yeah,
like he gets
Russian giant.
A Russian giant. He gets this great roster of friends from all these different backgrounds, and he just does not despise them at all.
Yeah, it's just beautiful. Like just PK's mindset through everything. It's just everybody he comes across, he gives them the opportunity to be their best selves. And he just is like a sponge, like I said. He's just taking everything that he can from them, learning everything that he can from them, and just giving everything he can back to them to be their friend. Really cool.
So good. And I think leads to the conclusion of the story, where and again, just kind of that left turn out of nowhere, where was he PK in a bar, or was he's like preparing to leave, right?
Yeah, he was in a bar.
Yeah, after Rasputin died, he had the liquor that the drill man was selling him, or not selling him, giving him. And so he was gonna give it to the bar, and then I guess the drill man went crazy with
it's like dust sickness.
Something from the drill, the diamond drill.
The diamond
makes
drill.
him go
mining condition,
temporarily insane.
And
so ends up being the freaking judge.
Yeah,
and he's like
it literally is
a mountain of a man.
The judge from the beginning of the book, PK's arch enemy,
his freaking bully who killed Grandpa Chuck.
Yes.
Oh man.
It turns out to be this crazed driller who is basically, he sees PK and pure rage goes to basically kill PK.
Well, it's amazing because he's gone insane, and he just for some reason wants to kill.
Like the first person he sees,
Yeah.
and PK's there because even the bartender's like, "Dude, get down,
Circumstances.
get out of here,
Yeah.
go out the window. He's gonna kill you."
And then they see each other, and they realize who each other is. They recognize each other, and it's just it's such a cool.
Yeah.
Oh, it's like every bullied kid's dream to have that in their growth. Like, because he notices the crappy swastika tattoo on his arm, and then he yelled like with his boxing boxing expertise. Expertise.
I'm gonna use that from now on.
Yeah, with his boxing expertise, he is like just dancing around the judge. He is just dodging all his blows and hitting him and doing all his combos.
Everything TK is
Like all the growth just culminating into this one delicious moment. And he just yells right at his face what Greg just said, "You killed Grandpa Chook."
Oh,
And that's when the judge is like, "Piss cop?" And it's amazing.
beats the crap out of him, and then proceeds to carve the British
Union
flag
Jack
into
Yeah.
the swastika.
over the swastika.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I just recently re-listened to the book, and I probably re-listened to that part 20 times. It's so good because you just see PK become his childhood self, and just channel that hatred and that anger back into his older self to beat up the judge, and
and
the whole theme comes through where small
learning
can beat big.
Exactly. Everything comes to fruition. Like learning to channel the hatred in the right way. Small can be big, like even
First with the head, then with the heart.
Yeah.
Yeah, the power of one. Just
It'll knock your socks off.
11 out of 10.
Absolutely.
Now, I think that can lead into the last bit. It's like our rating, in which we kind of, I think we all agree. Out of 10, I give this book a 10. It's worth a read. It's worth a reread. It's one of those books you can always go back to. Every time I reread it, it's a new story. I mean, you get
so much details that you just don't get, through the first read, the second read, the third read, that you are getting from the 6th, 7th, 8th time you've read it. Just incredible.
Yeah, I'm with Geoff. I would give this, I wanted to sound more nuanced in my rating system, but I definitely would give it a 10. And I'm definitely biased because the book's so good. I pretty much named my firstborn son after the main character. So that's how good it is. And I read this, or try to listen to it at least once a year around his birthday, around my son's birthday. And but I couldn't recommend it more.
Yeah. I'm going to be a little bit more like Dave Portnoy. A 10 is something that you cannot get better. It's absolutely perfect.
We need someone to round this out.
Close. It is very close. But I'm giving it a 9.8. It is almost perfection. It is such a good book. It has impacted my life in such a special way. Just the knowledge I gained from the history from it, just the lessons that you learn along the way, the same lessons that PK learns, just downright amazing for sure.
Oh yeah, for sure. Well, rounding up our scores, I think it comes out a 10 out of 10 for the podcast.
Absolutely.
No, 9.9.
A darn point.
9.9 out of 10. Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The funny thing is it was Greg that introduced both me and Derek to this book, and I think we had kind of the same response. Like, what? Like, this book? I've never heard of it. Why read this book?
Well, Geoff and I are brothers, and our mom introduced me. She kept hounding me. She was not a great salesman because I was like, "Mom, I don't like self-help books." She's like, Well, just read it. I think you'll really like it. She never told me that it was actually a fiction book. So
About boxing.
Yeah. There's actually story in it, but yeah. Anyways, I couldn't recommend it more. I want everybody to read it just because I want to talk about it any chance that I get. So
Yeah, it's definitely that book that anytime I see someone online saying, "Give me book recommendations," that's the first. This is the first book I tell them to read.
yeah.
But I guess you could say it's more target audience is more for boys. But I'm still always
Really,
telling my
anybody.
wife she needs to listen to this book.
Yeah.
I mean, even definitely a boys' book, but there are great female characters. I mean, you have Big Hetty at the beginning. You have the librarian, his teacher,
Mrs. Bornstein.
Bornstein. Yeah.
According to Miss Bornstein.
Well, according to Miss Bornstein.
Oh yeah, and yeah. I mean, but anyone can benefit from this book.
His nanny.
Yeah, we fully recommend the audiobook. Me who has read it first and then the audiobook definitely gives you that world building perspective of this is a place of multiple nationalities, because Humphrey Bauer, the narrator, really does the voices and the accents terrifically.
Power of a narrator for sure, just in his ability to increase the pleasure of reading a book for sure.
Also, could we talk about the book cover? How it
I
does
don't
not
know.
do it justice
It
at
does
all.
not at all.
I would
At least
say,
that copy.
Yeah, all the book covers I've seen don't seem to do it.
Yeah, they're really trying to undersell it. I just don't get it.
No kidding. Like it is a book I've never heard about.
Yeah, who chose
Nobody
those covers?
has
Your
ever
mom?
talked about it.
Also,
I look at the cover and it does not intrigue me at all.
It's like a little boy holding an airplane. I've seen one where it's literally like a black silhouette kind of walking across the desert, and it's like, I mean, I guess a lone person, power of one, maybe.
But
then again, it makes it seem more like a self-help book. Yeah.
But yeah, incredible. Thank you for joining us on this. I don't know if you guys got anything else to say about it. I think we've all been a little fanboyish
about it. Like we could gush out about it even more, but
yeah,
we'll keep it at that.
So
great thing. I mean, it's one of those books that gets you to discuss things and kind of reflect, right? Like, what influences have I had in my life, and who has been my doc? Who's been my hobby? Have I been a hobby for somebody? And really like makes you think on how you could be a better influence too. So yeah, I think it's been good. It's a book, I'll always go back to periodically, and I think we all have shown our appreciation for it. So.
Yeah, or like, are you going to be the Peekay to all these other people? Because Peekay had the most influence on everybody.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like
in the end, totally.
So enough.
Yeah, that's what us geeking out about
this.
Yeah.
Anyways,
we got some Little Debbie's to eat. So
yeah, we're gonna eat some Little Debbie's.
Yum.
Not sponsored, but hey, Little Debbie.
Yes, Little Debbie, sponsor us. We didn't discuss what is the next book we're gonna talk about.
Yeah, that's a good discussion to have.
Geoff, why don't you pick it?
Pick it? Okay. Oh, dang. Well, in terms of finding a book, one book, and I'd say kind of going on the African trend, that was probably one of my biggest influences, especially in reading and writing, that just propelled me forward in this field is The Ear, the Eye, and the Arm. I don't know if you guys have read it before, but I think it's a pretty short one. It's kind of a young adult kids book, but even then the themes in it are pretty intense, and I think that'd be a great one to dive into.
Okay.
Yeah.
You hear to hear first, folks.
Hear to
hear first. If you want to join us, read The Ear, the Eye, and the Arm by, do you know the author?
Nancy Farmer.
Nancy Farmer. And then join us next time for a discussion. But yeah, that's it for now. Thank you for joining us, everybody. This has been Big Rascals. Keep reading, keep writing, and stay rascally, my friends.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.